Hello, hello, and welcome back to the reading room. It's a birthday stream, yet another one. I seem to have one every year, no matter what I do. It happens. It happens. But yeah, I said that I'm putting on a birthday stream. I'm nothing if not a man of my word. So yeah, here is the birthday stream. What are we doing? Where hopefully some people will come in, have a chat, talk about stuff, just random stuff, political stuff, theology, evolution, anything you want, and maybe just play some games, play some Gardic phone. Whatever happens, happens. But how am I feeling? I had a massive cold yesterday, and I was not happy. I was very unhappy. Just a happy celebration. Oh, thank you so much. Hello, Bree. Well, actually, there's a few just awesome people hanging around the chat. There's Human Girl. Oh, thanks, Human Girl. A Pragmatic Crystal. You are Victoria. Don't blame yourself. A birthday could happen to anyone. Yeah, that is true. That is true. It keeps happening to me no matter what I do. It keeps happening. Another trip around the sun. Yeah, I find birthdays to be very sort of arbitrary. They don't mean a lot to me, kind of thing. I find them very arbitrary, but thank you so much, Aragon, GG. Thank you. Ian Chen. Yeah, begrudging. I'm kind of doing it for the peeps, and that's a good thing. But I really do appreciate all of your well wishes. It really does mean a lot to me. So sorry if I'm still a little bunged up. I kind of think Dave, thank you so much. Left-handed Jedi, always awesome. Ian, it's been too long. But yeah, I've got a link in there. So if you do want, please do join if you just want to chat and hang out and just chill out. It's pinned at the top, or it should be if I'm doing my job correctly. Oh wow, I actually did part of my job correctly. That's amazing. Awesome. Yeah, no, Hype Science, Bree, thank you. Grayson, thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate it. The wonderful Ember, thank you for Soloversary. Okay. Happy belated birthday. Yeah. It was a few days ago, but I didn't want to interrupt anybody's stream, so I kind of placed it when I thought I thought it would be sort of not interfering with anybody's streams, because I didn't want to sort of step on anyone's toes by doing a stream like in the middle of something. And I don't know. I'm not that committed, but I thank you, Marty. Thank you so much. Ember's in bed. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. No worries at all. No worries at all. And Bree, thank you. Happy begrudging birthday. Yeah, no, Maya knows what I'm talking about. The begrudging birthday. Yes, it's my birthday. Get over it. Yeah, so how old am I? I am 48. I am 48. I had to, as I've mentioned, I had to do math and go, how old am I? And go, well, I was born in 76. I know that. And then do the math to find out my damn age, which is just incredible. I think I look good for 48. I'm nearly 50, and I look good. I'm well preserved. I think my mind is still good. I think I'm doing okay. I'm actually quite happy to make this age, but it's a bit of a shock, because do I feel 48? Absolutely not. No, I feel sort of 20 odd something. I guess a bit older than that. I feel like 30 or something. No way, you don't believe it? Okay, well, I mean, you can not believe it. That's fine. I mean, I could get my driver's license, but I'm sure as shit not going to show my address on YouTube. I'll tell you that right now. So yeah, I definitely can prove it. I definitely can prove it. I should have my birth certificate somewhere, actually. So I can prove that, Grayson. If you want me to send you proof, I will send you proof. That's not a problem. Don't start a birther movement, sir. That's not right. Okay, that's not right. Please show your social security card. I would if I had something called a social security card. I would if such a thing existed in Australia. I think the closest we've got is a Medicare card, to be honest with you, and that doesn't have your date of birth on it. I think you're gonna. And Grayson was sort of I don't know. Yeah, if you're going to fit in with Australia, Grayson, you've got to learn the terms. Okay, you've got to learn the terms. You got to learn what people are talking about when they talk in real Australian. You know, the real Australian. Like you got to know. So one thing I was thinking was if anybody does visit Australia, right, they've got to learn the difference between yeah, nah and nah, yeah. Does anyone know the difference between those two? Because there's such a difference between those two. It's actually incredible now. I never even considered this until somebody pointed it out, that nah, yeah, and yeah, nah have different connotations depending on how they're delivered, right? So nah, yeah is, well, I disagree with you, but I'm going to go along with what you say anyway. It's basically, I disagree in principle, but let's go along with what you're saying. You know, so someone have said, oh, you know, I'm going to take this thing off you because you don't deserve it. Nah, yeah, I don't. Right? It's like, I disagree, but go ahead. You know, I kind of don't like it, or yeah, I kind of disagree with the sentiment that you're expressing, but go ahead and do what you're doing, basically. And yeah, nah is, you know, I agree with you in principle, but no, yeah, nah is not hell no. No, it's not. It's I agree with you in theory, but I'm not doing, or I'm not actually going to acquiesce to whatever you're saying. So if someone's like, oh, let's go to the racetrack, it's really fun. It's like, yeah, nah, I don't really feel like it. It's like, yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I, you know, that's the I agree with you in principle, but no, I'm not doing it. You know, it's very subtle. It's incredibly subtle. And nay, yeah. Oh, thank you, Dan. I really appreciate it. I don't know what I'm doing here, and yeah. So until some people join and so we can get some games going, I might just hang around and play games and stuff. It was really interesting, actually. I dropped in on missing mods the other day, and I had some interesting. Hello, Hank. How are you?
Happy birthday, Mark.
Oh,
missed it last year, but I got it this year.
Okay, no worries. How are you? How have you been?
Oh, things have been pretty busy. I haven't been on your debate service for a bit, but I've been in other places quite often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The username is very familiar. I do recognize the username. You've been everywhere. Weren't you over at Amy's at some point as well?
Yes.
Yeah. So I've known you for a while, although I don't think I've ever met you face to face, Hank. Like, I don't think I've actually talked with you, kind of thing.
Yeah, we haven't talked on Streamyard yet.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
We talked on Discord, but we have not talked on Streamyard yet. So.
Yeah, well, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. I do recognize the name. I think we've had some great conversations in chat, actually. Come to think of it, yeah. It's really good to meet you.
Yeah. I've been all over the StreamYard panels. I'm actually a notorious panel hopper, and the truthers do not like me because I actually asked them for demonstrations and evidence and all that stuff. And I do
the truthers.
Yeah.
What are the truthers?
Oh, so the people who believe in crazy conspiracy theories that they can't prove.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Including especially sovereign citizens.
Oh, I've been watching videos on them, man. It's and we got a couple here where I am, and it's kind of it's really worrying that they essentially make up their own laws that they're part of and then try to enforce them. It's very, very crazy. I should do more on it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy, except for the fact they don't have enough force to enforce their law. That's the thing they don't recognize yet. So yeah, what you do is play the system as it is, unless you have enough force, which requires enough weapons. I mean, if you're not Dr. freaking Robotnik, I don't see how you're gonna enforce your law.
Well, it's not so much about the enforcement; it's about the social contract, because the government can't really enforce its laws through pure violence. It does so by consent, because don't forget the amount of people that are in the country would easily overwhelm the police force, for instance, right?
Absolutely.
So they have to govern by consent, a mandate from the masses, if you will. You know, that's a really simple way of saying it. But part of it is social contract. It's basically us saying, hey, we will allow you to enforce these laws and these things as long as we are represented in a democracy and there's some rights that you don't violate. That's basically, you know, when you get boiled down to it, that's the social contract.
Yeah, well, democracy, republic, dictatorship, but the people have to matter. If the people don't matter, the leadership will be removed pretty quickly.
It's people having the rights to assemble themselves is where that falls over in the U.S. anyway. They can do that until it butts heads with the state or federal law, and then it's a problem. That's the way where they don't seem to understand where that line is. They think that their rights to assemble in whatever fashion they see fit supersedes any other government. Anything beyond that is government overreach, I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. But I go by Hobbes and Weber models, so pretty much just the Congress can put whatever laws they want in the books, but if the police don't want to enforce them, they really don't count.
Hey, Mark, happy birthday.
Hi, thank you, Grayson, and thank you, Brie. I really appreciate it. It's a wild day also, and I got a cold on my birthday, which sucks. That always sucks. But thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. I think sovereign citizens, though, they sort of want the government to hold up their end of the social contract, protect all their rights and things, but they don't want to participate in their side of it, which is, ceding the power to make and enforce laws to the government. I think that's sort of what I'm getting at, that they want the government to be part of that contract, but they're breaking it.
Exactly. For example, they want to pay taxes, but taxation is rent. That's how they keep the society running.
I would honestly say that that's not something that's unique to just sovereign citizens. That's something, that level of hypocrisy in expecting to get the maximum returns from government, but begrudging every single little thing that you give in return. I've seen that across multiple different ideological camps in the conservative movement. A lot of just small business owners are the same thing. They want the maximum possible handouts that they can get, but they don't want to pay anything in taxes in return. Is essentially the situation.
Well, there's
a perfect example is what Dr. Dan, and hi Dr. Dan, thank you so much, mate, calls that fucking guy, which is Kent Hovind, who rails against every tax in history, but when he needs his road paved, he basically says the government won't fix my roads. And it's like, how can a tax dodger complain about them not spending money on his roads?
It's taught in public schools, and he doesn't pay taxes towards those public schools. What does he care?
I was just making the point that it's even with less extreme people and more moderate conservatives, you see the same thing. My mom has a small accounting firm, a practice for these kinds of small business owners, and with her clients, they're not extremist people. They all consider themselves to be just moderate fiscal conservatives. Every single one of them was trying to beg her to be how can we maximize the amount of money that we're getting from these PPP loans that the government is handing out? How can we get the most amount of tax benefits? How can we do this with paying the least amount of taxes? We don't want to give anything to the government, but we want to maximize how much the government gives us. And they all have that same mindset.
Well, I'm not surprised, and I don't
I'd like
really.
To see...
Well, I don't really blame them that much, to be honest with you. It's sort of just a symptom of late-stage capitalism. We've created a system where, you know, the businesses will survive that do that kind of thing. You know, it's very difficult to survive as a small business. So you kind of there's sort of almost a competition thing to be as cutthroat as possible. We encourage that behavior through the very system that we've created.
I just like to see a Venn diagram of the people doing what Grayson was just talking about, and then people who don't tip at their servants. In the U.S., I know it's different down in Australia. It's not part of your all's system, but over here, the service industry, when you work as a waitress or waiter, you don't get paid minimum wage. You don't even get paid the state minimum wage because they say, you know, it's supposed to be offset by the tips that you receive.
Yeah.
So
we are tipping in the U.S. because we used to have slaves that just worked in restaurants and didn't get a wage at all. It's a dumb culture thing. It was a packed workaround.
But now it's a way to hold poor people down.
Yeah, we don't tip at all. No, nobody tips here, but it's also Australia has the highest minimum wage in the entire world comparatively when you take sort of the you know, exchange rates into consideration. We don't like, I don't understand. All it seems to be doing is basically taking the money that the business would spend towards those employees and putting that burden upon the consumer. And I don't understand that in the slightest. Like, I don't get it. Because if you don't have to spend that as the consumer, you'll go out and, you know, eat out more, and you'll employ services more. So essentially what you're doing is that you're discouraging people from using places that have a server. I don't get it. I have no idea why.
Yeah, it's a historical thing that we carried over that we should just go ahead and sunset. It's not necessary.
I do wonder, like, in a vacuum, though, if you're comparing two restaurants in identical circumstances, one has tips, one doesn't, is the sort of cultural pressure and guilt associated with not tipping enough to increase the revenue of the tip restaurant in comparison? Like, Mark, the people that you're saying that are discouraged from going out to eating from tips, I'm not sure how common that is, because I think a lot of people, they'll go out even if they can't afford to tip, and they just won't tip. I mean, they'll still go out and have the service, they just won't tip. And so, like, then there's just the added social pressure of, like, maybe you're going on a date, or maybe you're going out and you have something that you want to impress, and you want to have a big tip. And, like, there is that social pressure of, like, giving and looking good and maintaining your social status with that tip. So maybe there is some sort of psychology but involved that maybe they are making more money by having tips, by just guilting people into paying more for the same service.
It's an American libertarian mindset. They're like they don't want to participate. It's like you'll ask some of these customers, not in the Midwest, it's really bad with them, but it'll be like, why don't you tip? And they say, I don't believe in it. It's not something I believe in. And because it's not written in law, they don't have to do it. But it's part of this, again, what you were talking about before, this social contract of walking into that restaurant and expecting to be served.
Right.
Yeah. And Mark, I know you blamed they say capitalism, but I read some Marx. Capitalism, the way we call it, is just bourgeoisie socialism. So
capitalism is bourgeoisie socialism.
Yeah, what we call capitalism is what Marx called bourgeois socialism.
I guess so. I think that there's elements of that within our system, but it's really a system of competing interests, right? Really, we have a push towards sort of socialist principles, but the entire system is capitalism. Your class within, Well, yeah, but your class within society is determined by the amount of capital that you do have. So someone like Bezos or Musk, they're very, very high up in class structure. You know, they're very, very high up there in the access to resources, the political power they exert, all of these things. They have a lot of it because of the capital that they own. Whereas somebody who is homeless and doesn't own anything and may sort of be negative in capital, that they have way less power, influence, access to resources, all of these things. I really want to push back on the idea that it is in any way like part of it is socialist. I get where you're coming from, but I really think that it's set up so, you know, your capital really determines your place within society.
Yeah,
I
remember,
really
it's capital, it's not liquid cash, because many lottery winners become multimillionaires, they pretty much 95% of them lose it within 5 years.
Like, are you just saying that socialism is any kind of distribution of the means of production amongst any group of people?
Well,
like, so bourgeoisie socialism is when the bourgeoisie own the means of production. Or if I say, oh, ancient Sumeria was religious socialism because the temple of the god controlled all of the means of production. Like, it just sort of cheapens the term socialism.
Let me be clear. I didn't make that claim. Karl Marx said that. Karl Marx said that all forms of redistribution was socialism.
Well, I think Karl Marx's day, the idea of socialism and our ideas of socialism are very different.
Yes.
Right. I think that you know, sort of modern socialism is more of a sort of a democratic institution, and I think that the socialism he was talking about was very different, but I sort of push back that...
Well, the societies were different back in the 1840s too,
so when Karl Marx said socialism, he pretty much means the same thing what we mean by economic systems. So when we say socialism, we probably mean just the scientific socialism that he meant specifically. That's supposed to come after bourgeoisie socialism.
Yeah. And corporate is it's very prescient, like sort of the idea of corporate control is just you know, I don't know what madness possessed the US to make corporations people and persons under the law.
It's money.
Yeah, so
it sets a global precedent too, so you guys have to deal with that sort of mindset as well down there. Everything that happens in America echoes around the world.
So here's
I don't think we consider we don't consider corporations.
But you have to deal with corporations who are considered people elsewhere and have sort of that mindset that they're that if you want to do business outside with the US, which is a huge global market, then you have to deal with corporations that are considered people in their home, in their manufacturing field or in their
that's true.
In their production field. Yeah, so it echoes around the world regardless.
Okay, let me explain this. I'm a neoliberal. Why the U.S. made a limited corporatocracy is because we allowed people to build their own, labs and test their own ideas, and the ones that happen to be good get to go global. Unfortunately, we're not doing our trust busting because sometimes companies go out of hand. But
did you know that if you say Marxist 3 times, Leo Filius appears?
Oh yes, I'd have it no other way. Marxist. Give it to me, Leo. Give it to me hard.
There you go. Here is it. It's like freaking.
I'm gonna put this in my back pocket.
Leo gets on that talking about this topic. It's awesome. I love it.
I love coming to new panels because then you get new people that happen to show up.
You got to say happy birthday to Mark first, though, Leo, if you got a microphone. Because we got to remind Mark he's getting older. Sound like you're at the bottom of your pool. Are you okay?
Yeah, no, my mic arm was not lowered. It is now.
You know, the happy birthday song might be like the most successful global meme of all time. Like, I feel like almost everywhere on every continent they have the same happy birthday song that was written by one lady back in the early 1900s.
Used to be copyrighted too.
Yeah, copyright cringe.
Like,
we should end it.
Like, is there any other
well,
is there any other cultural concept that has spread out as ubiquitously as the Happy Birthday song? I mean, I feel like even in places that have like not even heard of Jesus yet, they still have the same Happy Birthday song at this point.
That's you know, that's an interesting question. I think the better question is there any other song that has created so much cringe in history than that song?
Well, it's meant to make cringe. That's its purpose. So it is.
Yeah, I know. I'm very aware of that. Yeah. Yes. I think like my wife is very, very sort of shy and doesn't like being made the center of attention. If I like sang that at a restaurant and made everybody, she would absolutely kill me. Like, she would kill me. You know, hates that kind of stuff. So,
by the way, kids, that's called murder, and it's illegal like everywhere.
Sure, I meant metaphorically.
But, no, I know. Sure. I'm just being a smartass.
And that's because and God you said declared that murder was wrong 2,500 years ago.
Grayson, do you mind if I talk about something we discussed in private chat on Discord?
About me finding out about Tasmania yesterday?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's okay. Yeah, I don't want.
No. I think it's a great story. I mean, go ahead and talk about it. I didn't know Tasmania existed before, but I had never thought about living there until last night when I saw a meme about it.
It's a really beautiful state, like lots of natural wilderness. It's a bit cold and wet for my liking, but you know,
it's not very densely populated either. It's like
yeah, it's very. So he was asking about stereotypes of the people, and they're sort of, because it's an island, they're isolated. Because it's sort of very low population, they're sort of known as backwards, but I don't think they deserve the reputation, you know, like most stereotypes. They're just people, and they're incredible. The Tasmanian people I have met in my life have always been really, really nice, you know, like really nice people. So I don't have any problem with them.
I've been told that Tasmania is Australia's Maine, or not Maine, Australia's Alaska.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Kind of.
Is it that cold, really?
Kind of.
I don't even
No, it's not that. Not. No, like Juneau, Alaska, like the right there by BC and Washington State, Alaska.
Bree, you actually might really appreciate some of the Tasmania facts that I was learning about today. Like, did you know
one of them is horrible?
No, they're all actually very nice and cool, Mark. None of them are horrible. Did you know that
I know one that is horrible.
The largest freshwater invertebrate in the world lives in Tasmania.
No, I didn't know that.
It is the Tasmanian giant crayfish. And it's just like, it's like a lobster-sized crayfish that you can find in Tasmanian like forest, like streams.
I do know they have the heaviest insect.
Oh, what's that? What's the heaviest insect? I gotta know this.
Weta.
Oh, a weta. No, isn't that New Zealand?
There's not. Oh yeah, that is New Zealand. Oh my gosh, I'm a little stoned right now.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, the weta is definitely New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand. Yeah. That's what I was
not
thinking about. New Zealand. Tasmania is the little island up there on the coast of Australia. Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
it was the last place that Tasmanian wolves were sighted. They used to be all over Australia.
Tasmanian tigers.
Tasmanian devils.
Which are neither... Well, Tasmanian devils are still there. And, like, if you ever go camping in Tasmania, it is the most horrific sound you'll ever hear. Like, listen to Tasmanian devils at night. They sound like... That's why they're called devils, because they sound demonic. It's
no,
crazy.
Mark. Have you ever heard koalas fighting? That is the most horrific sound.
Yeah.
When they cry, it's so cute, though.
So, okay, but I'm like, literally, I was sold on Tasmania the moment I realized that you could like go and walk around a forest and find like platypus in the streams and giant,
they're very
world
rare.
Record-breaking crayfish. Like,
yeah, so Tasmania's the corn chip that's like, you know, down the bottom of the right-hand side. Yeah. So
I thought we could use
the only recorded instance of a successful genocide of people were the Tasmanian Aborigines, which is shameful and horrible, and you know, a cautionary tale.
Damn. Australia, Canada, the U.S., we all kind of suck, huh?
No, the most funny clip of koalas is when they gave this British woman a koala and told her it was a drop bear. That was absolutely freaking hilarious. That was awesome.
Wait, Mark, what about, like, I don't know what I don't mean to nitpick or anything, but of course, like, I have a bad habit of playing devil's advocate. I think a lot of people know, but
Tasmanian like, devil's advocate.
nice, perfect. Big ups on that, actually. But when you're saying, like, what criteria are you determined to meet when you say that it's like the only successful genocide in recorded history? Because I can think of some other, like, people that were essentially wiped out by other people in history.
But the question is essentially wiped out as opposed to actually wiped out. Like
there were like the native people of, like, southern Argentina, like the Tierra del Fuego, like, area. I think that those people
Patagonians
were wiped out.
Yeah, but they had like offspring with some of the native people.
So there's people with that genotype still existing in South America, just not that population's gone now.
Correct. So yes, the Aboriginal Tasmanians are gone completely.
Yeah, no breeding.
Their genotype is out of the gene pool. There's no descendants surviving. Okay.
So I guess like there's like ancient examples that I could give of stuff like that happening, like the indigenous European populations, but I guess that's not recorded history.
Yeah, recorded. Yeah, this is really what I was.
What about Rapa Nui?
Okay, well, I just was being a stickler, and I think it's so funny that, like, we lured Leo in here by talking about socialism, and then the moment he joins, like, it completely shifts to, like, fun Tasmania facts.
It's Tasmania all the way down, yeah. But it got me thinking about what's different in Australia and things you'd have to adapt to moving to Australia. And I brought up an earlier one, like the yeah. It's just people are bewildered by that. Another one is people come to Australia and they don't hear something and they say, what? And it's really, it's considered pretty rude in sort of circles. If you don't hear something, people go, what? And it's like, what usually means I don't understand, right? Not that you haven't heard.
What are we supposed to say instead of that then?
Pardon? Or excuse me? One of those two. But what usually means, like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Whereas pardon is I'm sorry. I haven't heard what you're saying.
I don't think I've ever
fuck my life every time somebody says something to me.
Okay, yeah, I mean,
I honestly don't know if I've ever said the word pardon in my entire life.
You just did now.
Yeah, I think this is a first for me.
Yeah. And what else is different? Sort of the idea of mateship is really important. Like your mates kind of thing is your friends. I think sort of most people would place their mates on a really high level of importance in their life. Sort of this idea that you don't fuck with your mates kind of thing. I'm sorry if I'm swearing.
So what you're saying is that it's very important. Australians place a lot of value on ensuring that their mates have a good day.
Yeah, mate.
Good day, mate.
Yeah, so that's basically it. But also, you sort of, if you have a mate, you're there for them. You try to help them as much as possible. There's a massive importance placed upon social commitment to one's friends, essentially. That your friends you're there for, and you take care of. Less, I guess there's a lot more collectivism and less individualism than America.
Yeah. Collectivism in America is kind of, well, I don't know, like when you'll see when the hurricane hits, though, people do tend to come together in communities and stuff.
That is funny how that always seems to happen, isn't it, Bree? Like,
yeah,
in the red states, like in Texas where I'm from, like, it's all get the government out of here. We don't want the government's handouts. Government shouldn't be spending anything. And then, like we were saying earlier, at any time where it's suddenly you're in the position to receive the government handouts, all of a sudden it's, well, the government should be giving us more money for hurricane relief because we deserve it because we got hit by a hurricane. So we need the government money now. And it's just the same thing that we were highlighting earlier.
Yeah. It's a mentality.
Yeah, Hillhugger knows where it's at, but a Hillhugger's Australian, so yeah, that's true. You if you're going to live in Australia, you probably got to get used to some swearing.
Texas is also
it
sort of
happens.
Like when we were talking about individualism versus collectivism, there are a few, like, I'd say that this actually varies state by state. Like there are some states that are more collectivist, like maybe Minnesota might be on one end of that spectrum, or like California or something.
California.
And then on the other end, you might have like where I'm from, Texas, one of the most like New Hampshire or something like that. Like that.
But then there's places. But like Texas, there's places in Texas where it's like I'm in Illinois right now, and I'm in and it's the most conservative area. Like everybody's conservative here. I don't know. I can't count 10 people I know who are liberal or left leaning on my hands. It's that conservative in this part of the country. And places in Texas, I'm moving to Texas next month, and I'm moving to El Paso, and that's more freaking liberal and left leaning than anywhere else in the state.
Well, not more than
Texas is not actually as conservative as people think. It's like primarily West Texas and stuff like that, where all the dumbass dipshit conservatives live.
I mean, it's just the rural areas in general and certain suburbs. Like Houston suburbs and certain Dallas suburbs. Conservative, like,
well, you can look at a map and it's like, yeah, it's.
Didn't Trump only win Texas by like 5 or 6 points in 2020?
Yeah. I mean, I could just tell you, like,
if you're
anecdotally from like
Texas, that should scare you.
I can just tell you, like, anecdotally, like growing up in Texas and seeing it now, there's a lot of Trump signs. But I will say, driving across the country the last couple weeks, one thing that I've noticed is that you see the most Trump signs in the blue states in rural areas. But the rural areas in Trump country right now really do not have that many Trump signs. I'm actually pretty shocked. Like earlier today, I was driving on literally Donald J. Trump Highway, and I did not see a single house with a Trump sign or a Trump flag. But then as soon as I entered into a blue state, Colorado, all these rural houses have Trump flags on them.
So I'm not surprised. I used to support Trump a long time ago, but Trump didn't make America great again when he was president.
What made you think he ever was? That's what I want to know.
Oh, it was simple. It was because I used to be a teabagger. I want to meme someone that the media hated into
a teabagger.
I don't think that's the right term for that.
I mean, I know what a teabagger is, but it's not something somebody would happily own.
What's a teabagger?
Well, it's
somebody who teabags people.
No. The Tea Party. It was like a movement of conservatism in the early 2010s in America. But I don't think that they refer to themselves as a teabagger, though. That's the thing.
Well, I'm a liberal now. So I refer to them as teabaggers, even though I'm included.
Liberals are only marginally better than conservatives. Like, let's all be real here. If you're not a leftist, you don't understand the world.
Probably not.
Okay.
Let's be nice, Leo.
I am
Leo,
being nice. It's just an
objectively true
statement.
I think some of them do understand the world, and they don't care because they're at the top.
Yeah. So the media didn't like him, so we assume he has the heel energy, so he'll actually go in there and fix Washington, D.C., but we were mistaken. He didn't actually know how to manage stuff. He just got by on momentum from his father. I didn't know he wasn't a good manager. So
why didn't you,
I learned new things.
Look up who Donald Trump was before supporting him?
I did. I saw him on The Apprentice, but I didn't know that he did all that stuff.
Else.
I didn't know with The Apprentice he did all that drama stuff for real. I thought it was just the showbiz, but that's really how he runs stuff.
Honestly, I thought he was just some clown that sold steaks and made really bad people. Like, I didn't even know who he was.
I always saw him like a snake oil kind of guy, like swindler. Like a character that before this I would always consider Danny DeVito to play him, but because Danny DeVito is really good at playing that shisty hustler guy. That's the image. That's what he was famous for. He was famous for screwing over people in deals and stuff. And
may I interest you in an egg in these trying times?
So we thought he would screw over the parts of the government media we didn't like, but he just screwed everyone over, including us. So.
Oh, he absolutely.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
the plan.
He said he would hire the best people, and going on, he said he hired the worst people.
Well, hiring the best people is anti-capitalism, because if you're going to run a business in a purely capitalist system, you should hire the person who bids the lowest to do the work. So you want the person.
I'm just shocked that you voted for Trump without knowing any of this, like before. Like, how much due diligence did you do before you cast your vote the first time?
I did plenty, but I'm in a rural area. Half the people around me were conservative, and the liberals at the time didn't make enough sense. So I moved to the left.
Let's face it, Hillary was a disaster. Like, I intensely disliked Hillary from the amount of money she would take in by doing, I mean, she used to be doing Goldman Sachs like speeches and things and just raking in money. It was really disheartening that she was selected instead of Bernie, kind of thing. Like, I think that was a huge disaster, because leaving aside the problems with her husband, the problematic behavior there, her behavior was to rake it in, like just basically working for corporations and Wall Street. It just was not a good look.
And the media completely blacked out Bernie Sanders purposefully. They were giving Hillary Clinton 400 superdelegates before a single fucking primary had been even had. Like, it just was fucking stupid. But you got to remember, the system itself didn't give a shit who won. They just didn't want it to be Bernie. That's it. That's why they pushed Hillary so hard. Because even if she lost, everything's still going to be fine for us. It just can't be Bernie.
Trump was not fine for us.
Did you guys?
I genuinely don't think Trump wanted to win. I think the whole thing was about publicity and slapping his name on a bunch of shit and selling it and all that stuff. And then he actually
avoiding lawsuits and things. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Trump didn't want to win at first. Now he doesn't want to lose. Because
he only wants to win because it's the only thing that's probably going to keep his ass out of prison.
Yeah.
Well, he could have just not cheated.
He might serve jail time. So
he could have just not been corrupt, and that would have kept him out of jail.
Yeah, but like that's extraordinary.
America. He's trying to make it American politics.
That's like saying, well, if Hitler just wasn't an anti-Semite, the Jews wouldn't have been killed. Well, duh, but like, let's be real here.
That's what he is. Yeah. It's wild to me that people with criminal records can't vote, but they can run for president. It's wild. I think
people in prison should be allowed to vote. They're citizens, and they are counted in the population counts. They should be allowed to vote.
I agree.
They're
stakeholders. They are stakeholders voting is in how the
Yeah, voting is either an inalienable right or it's not. Fucking pick one.
Yeah,
we all know what the Republican Party would pick.
Well, I mean, when we have sort of rights for people, we do rescind some of those rights if you violate other people's rights.
Then it's not an inalienable right.
Yeah, it called a privilege instead.
Well, it's not a privilege; it is a right. But it's a right not
not
to be
inalienable.
Not inalienable, right? That I agree with that. Because it's basically, you have the right to bodily autonomy unless you go out and kill somebody, and then that right is just taken away. And we all agree that should happen.
Either is or ought not be taken away. It shouldn't be. Just because,
absolutely.
And this is why, I hate people who think that, raping rapists in prison is a good thing. No, the fuck it isn't. That's
capital punishment for a murderer.
All you're doing is perpetuating rape.
So wait, Leo, what do you think?
Piece of trash.
What do you think should be done with people who have been found guilty of sexual assault crimes?
They should be rehabilitated because we should have a rehabilitative justice system. The idea that you can't fix most criminals, I think, is false.
No, but
but it doesn't make as much money.
What I'm asking is part of that rehabilitation process has to be taking away their bodily autonomy to some degree, right?
In what way? In that they should be raped themselves so that they know what it's
No,
like?
no, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm
that.
asking about at all, man. I'm not saying there's a slippery slope or nothing. I'm just asking you to, like, as part of that rehabilitation, are they, like, where are they living? Like, what is their day to day?
Where
like,
you live has nothing to do with bodily autonomy. Bodily autonomy
well,
has to do with
are they
body.
living in a prison during this rehabilitation, or where are they living?
Nothing to do. Sure, but that has nothing to do with bodily autonomy. So that right isn't being affected because you're like isolated from the rest of the population because they're not doing anything to your body.
So, hi everyone, Mark. Feliz
Hello.
cumpleaños. Happy birthday.
Hi.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that was my first initial thing to say. I saw the title of the video, so we've talked a couple times, but hey, happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
Like,
You got a really long name. What should we call you? Bree's taken, so you can't have that.
Ditso.
Ditso in the language of the Bribri.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
Ditso in the language of the Bribri, the indigenous people in Costa Rica, one of the 8 groups, means seed. The word means seed. So
Cool.
You can call me Seed or you can call me Ditso. I go by another name, Raven, which is easier for people. A long story. But I was coming in because the conversation really interested me, and I just wanted to pose 2 points. One, in matters of Trump, to many of us in Latin America, Trump is to United States what Hugo Chavez was to Venezuela, or Daniel Ortega was to Nicaragua, or Pinochet was to Chile, or Videla was to Argentina, and along, etc. And on the point 2, the discussion about human rights in Latin America is done and over. The implementation of human rights, especially of the last 74 years, and of the civil rights in the last 200, constitutes a clear and concise line, especially after the Pacto San Jose that has been implemented in the majority of Latin America, which gives origin to the Inter-American Court of Human Rights. And in that discussion regarding abortion, it's interesting because there's a case directly related to my country, Costa Rica, which was the Artavia and others versus Costa Rica case, which is a must read because it goes on that line in regards of how human rights internationally are viewing the issue of bodily autonomy and how the implementation of saying making abortion illegal via the legislative mean is a act contrary to civil rights, constitutional civil rights, and human rights in total.
Well, I want to sort of touch on what Leo was talking about. Your bodily autonomy is not influenced. I think that in a way that it is, because as a prison inmate, you're sort of given what to eat and where to act and all of these kind of things. You're actually controlled in the things that you do. But more than that, you're actually what you actually put in your body is controlled. I also support if somebody is a prisoner and they do have a problem with committing these kind of sexual crimes that we all abhor. I'm not going to say the name of it because we'll probably YouTube algorithm will slap me, but I kind of support, taking away bodily autonomy and giving them chemical castration if they cannot stop doing it by themselves. Or while we try to rehabilitate them, if that's going to do the most good and prevent it from happening, I don't see somebody's right to bodily autonomy if they're going to use part of their freedoms to take away other people's bodily autonomy. I don't know if you'd agree with that or not, Leo. I'm just going to assume Leo agrees with everything I think he does.
Leo, you're on mute.
I think I'm going to speak.
I can't imagine Leo was actually quiet when you said you have the floor, Leo. That's never happened ever.
I'm going to speak for Leo. He's stunned that it's the most intelligent thing he's ever heard, and he's got no words to. I'm joking. You can disagree all you want, my friend. All you want.
Nice.
Yeah. No,
I don't know. I do think that, to me personally, I do think that, like, I would consider freedom of movement part of my body autonomy, and like freedom of some amount of decision making over my own body's nutrition and schedule and things like that. That's part of my body autonomy, in my opinion, at least. I don't know if Leo has a different definition of what he considers body autonomy to mean, but I think that if you are like in prison or like otherwise in some sort of holding or going through some sort of forced rehabilitation treatment, like that is like sacrificing some of your bodily autonomy rights. But again, I am pro like rehabilitative justice. I mean, I used to be in favor of the death penalty, especially for people of the crimes we've been talking about, that kind of stuff. But I actually got convinced otherwise by my friend's fiance, who actually does this work specifically with like people convicted of SA, and her rehabilitation rate, like to like people that don't commit again, is like upwards of 97%. Like it's really amazing. And she was giving me sort of a utilitarian, pragmatic argument about why, like, even morals aside, like, or I guess pragmatism could be morals, but why it's better.
Utilitarianism is also a moral
system. Exactly. Why it's better for. She was giving me a sort of utilitarian argument about like all of the resources and time and attention that society has put into molding a person. And when you give the death penalty, it's basically just like all of that coming to naught, when essentially there is, through neuroplasticity and different psychotherapy techniques, etc., there is the potential to rehabilitate that person to where they can be a productive member of society without harming others, which is always going to be the better option to better outcomes in society.
And to give a different perspective of what Mark was saying, from the Latin American perspective, rights are, and I'm going to describe them in this simple way. Rights on the judicial practice in Latin America are considered inalienable, indivisible, and inherent to every single human being. Under those three principles on the judicial practice, we do not separate the analysis of human rights one from each other. The right of petition and the right of freedom of speech, the right of freedom of press, or the right of union, or the right of health, or the right of having a house, or the right of having a nationality, or the right to the protection of culture, etc. All those rights and the whole body of international law that has been implemented alongside the constitutional norms that had been reinforced since the eras of independence here are seen as a inalienable and indivisible characteristic. If you violate one right, you're violating all of them in tandem to the context to which that violation happens. So in that sense, North America currently, United States, is seen, for many of us who work with human rights, who have done so for, in my case, 25 years of my adult life, it's seen extremely delayed and even backwards in the understanding of how those rights are implemented. In that sense,
that's not the issue here, but we're sort of saying that rights aren't inalienable. So if you do go and kill somebody, you still don't have a right to freedom, kind of thing, is what we're saying.
Ditso, if I may. Sorry, Mark.
No, go, Grayson.
I was just going to ask, like, Ditso, like, what is your take on what we've been talking about with the specific example with people going through some sort of forced rehabilitation program or whatever, like Leo was describing? Would you consider that to be them sacrificing some degree of their personal rights to bodily autonomy? Or what's your take on that whole situation that we've been arguing about?
One, if a person commits a crime, be it on this sense, the one we're talking about of SA and forcing themselves upon another individual, and that person is caught, that person has one fundamental right. which is to face a due process in a court of justice with the adequate right of defense.
Could you address the question? Could you address the question, though?
Yeah, I'm going to address it. I just wanted to explain on that. So,
yeah, but that applies to every single country in the world. Like,
exactly.
You know.
So, okay, good. We understand that. Once that person is sentenced through that court of justice, the implementation of rehabilitation or having to being obligated to suffer the consequences of their actions is not a limitation to any of his rights. As long as that form of rehabilitation is done without violating the right of not suffering cruel and intentional torture or treatment in that particular jail.
Cruel
so
punishment. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
But what do you feel about bodily
I think we can all
autonomy?
agree on that.
Should people who have committed a crime get chemical castration if they do have a problem with being unable or through some psychological state unwilling to stop essaying?
No.
So you
just keep them isolated.
You have two routes. One route is that being enforced directly by the courts and by the decision of the judicial process. So if that option is imposed there, I'm overly concerned that is giving too much power to the judicial system, to the state. The other route is a free-willed decision by the person who is going to suffer that castration. You give that option to that person to say, look, do you realize that you're having a bad, you are uncontrollable, you have, I don't know if we could define it as an illness or a problem or whatever form of definition.
Okay, can we get to the what we actually do implement, or whether it is okay? Because it's a very simple question. Is it okay to do chemical castration on somebody who has essayed and done these vile things? And you're sort of talking about how the courts deal with them. Well, let's just skip to the part of whether it's okay or not.
In my position, as somebody who works on this, I don't see it either okay or not okay. I see it under the context of which when is how it's going to be applied. If the person decides by themselves.
So a guy raped 13 children. Should we cut his balls off or not?
Rape is the word you should use.
We should send them to jail. We should send them to jail. And
that wasn't the question. Should we cut his balls off or not?
Look, nobody's arguing about sending them to jail. Everybody agrees on that, okay? But what I'm saying is I'm not opposed to the court taking away their right to bodily autonomy because they've violated somebody else's right to bodily autonomy. That basically, if the best way, the best outcome is to give them chemicals so they won't have these impulses they cannot control, then I actually support that. While Leo says...
proper doctor's evaluation of their mental state, and if they're going to be
absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
No, I'm not against due process, right? Like, I think that there should be, very stringent oversight to something like that. But I think that, that's allowable. While Leo obviously disagrees, and that's fair enough. I respect his opinion that it shouldn't be violated. That their bodily autonomy should still be sacrosanct. But we really want from you whether that should be something that should be allowed, or if you've got no opinion, that's fine. But at the moment, you're telling us what the current state of laws is, and it's not helpful for the question.
So, very simple. If the person is incarcerated and in jail and no longer in contact or no longer a risk to minors, I would say that no, unless that person requests to be castrated, even if they're incarcerated. If that person is no longer incarcerated and has contact, or there's a risk or a major risk of that person reinciding into that action, and there's no way of putting that person away, or there's
what? This seems like a very highly idealized hypothetical. In what world could we not jail somebody unless it's just that we can't find them?
Because there might be options where that person is encountering the alternative measures of not incarceration, but they are released because of good behavior, etc. But you still have that person.
If they're released, then weren't they incarcerated already?
Yes. So you can have other options in that sense. You can have a person who was caught, due process, sent to jail. Okay. Should we forcefully castrate that person that's going into jail and who's going to be in jail for the rest of their lives because of the crimes committed? My answer is no. If that person is released and there has been no castration, and that person will be released because of the different alternatives options of release, and that person may pose a risk of reinciding in his crime, then either two routes. One, we enforce it obligatory, or two, we give that person the option of choosing to castrate themselves or undergo the process of castration for their crime.
So here's the thing: everyone always has the choice of castrating themselves. That's a personal decision. I wouldn't enforce it with the state, because the state's kind of messy.
I don't believe in any form of change, removal, damage to a person's body part as punishment for a crime.
Wait,
I think there is no scenario in which that should be allowed.
Hold on, Leo, that's not what chemical castration is.
Yes, it is.
Chemical castration, removal of their body part. What, hormone therapy?
Change, removal, damage. Yes. I didn't say just removal, but it is damaging the testicles' ability to produce testosterone and sperm, I believe. Yes.
There is some side effects, but essentially
and those side effects are
reversible. Anxiety, depression, sometimes hot flashes.
That's altering a person's body. That fits under what I said. And it's not just that it shouldn't be allowed. The idea that this ought to be sanctioned by the state, I'm not trying to come at you, Mark, or anything. I'm just speaking about my position on this.
Hey, come at me, bro.
It disgusts me. Like, yeah, people do horrible things. Rape disgusts me more. But to me, bodily autonomy is truly inalienable. You cannot take it from somebody under any circumstance.
Okay, well, Leo, how about this? What if somebody is psychotic, is schizophrenic, has psychotic episodes, and ends up hurting people? Are you saying they shouldn't be consigned to a mental institution and given drugs?
But that's not taking away their bodily autonomy, consigning them.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Under your definition, it is, because it changes their brain
chemistry. Because my definition deals with the body, not where you live. Where you live has nothing to do with your body.
Isn't the brain the body? Isn't the brain
is a part of the body, but you're not damaging the brain by taking away.
Oh, yes, you are.
Lives. No, you're not.
No. I'm not saying it's that where they've been instituted. It's the problem. I'm saying they're forced to take chemicals, drugs in this case, in order to.
Yeah, I don't believe that courts should be able to order people to take medications. I disagree with that. I have my whole life.
I agree with Leophilius.
But I would say that if a person doesn't want to, and then they can't operate in society, then they are just kept in a mental institution. We'll lock them in a pad room all day if they don't want to take the medication, if that's the only way. But if they don't want to be locked in a padded room and they don't want, constant surveillance and supervision and all this, then take the medication. But ultimately,
isn't that coercive?
So
coercion isn't really a factor in bodily autonomy until it starts affecting the body.
And actually, I'm more inclined to agree with Leo in many senses. And I'm just going to give this in this sense. One, when we make medical decisions, we have the fundamental right to decide what goes in our body and what if we can deny medical attention, even if that means our own death.
Yeah, you have that right in the U.S.
Everywhere.
If you're bleeding out and you're in a hospital and you say, no, let me bleed out and die, doctors have to let you bleed out and die. They can't do anything legally. They can lose their license to practice if they did something. Not they always would, but that is a potential
give me a moment just to conclude that idea, Leo. Sorry. So, clearing that point, there's also another conditioning in regards of this, which is if you have a person who has a mental illness, who poses a risk to themselves or to others, then the common practice is that bodily autonomy is not, it does not enter into that, because A, that person may not have the coherent and cohesive and cognitive capability of deciding for themselves what is best for them, because that whichever condition of that illness may be impeding that capability of self-determination of that individual.
There's an issue there, because mental illnesses are designed by committee. They just invent them up with a committee of psychiatrists. Homosexuality used to be a mental illness and got removed out of DSM-4. So
can I say something real quick? My phone died, but I was listening a little bit, and I really wanted to hop in.
Driving,
I was really interested by. No, I'm not driving. I was just walking, like, without having my phone plugged in. Now I'm in the car, but I'm not driving, but my phone's plugged in. Like, I'm taking. But my point that I wanted to ask was, I was really interested in the exchange between Mark and Leo there for a second. And I wanted to ask, because it seemed like Mark was making the point that putting somebody into like a mental institution or isolating them and giving them like brain-altering chemical drugs to like help with their mental illness or their psychotic episodes or whatever it is, to help like, you know, normalize their brain activity. He was saying that he was analogizing that with chemical castration, essentially. And Leo was saying that chemical castration is bodily harm and a violation of bodily autonomy, but giving somebody like psychoactive, you know, drugs to help manage their mental illness is not. And I wanted to ask Leo. Wait, Leo, let's stop. Hold on. I'm going to let you respond, man. Just let me just finish. I wanted to ask Leo to please elaborate on that difference. To like say, like, what is the difference there?
Grayson, what? You're misrepresenting Leo. He didn't say there was a difference. He opposed to giving drugs to mental institutions, people in mental institutions.
I just want the opportunity to ask my Leo, because I'm gonna clarify. Like, I just wanted to ask, in those two different scenarios, right? Wouldn't it be the case that in chemical castration, you are also like doing a chemical treatment in order to like normalize their behavior or treat some sort of mental illness so that they are behaving more normally and not doing SA crimes?
Yes.
Well, I don't see the relevance of the question, because I do think that legally forcing somebody to have to take a certain medication is a violation of bodily autonomy.
I think the key here for that question, Grayson, is the principle of legality. I, as a private individual, can do everything as long as the law does not make it illegal for me to do so. That is a principle that in a constitutional republic, especially on an American...
Mark's face.
There's a lot of things that are illegal that I think people are allowed to do, because I don't give a fuck about what the law says. I give a fuck about my moral code. I don't murder. I don't not murder people because the law says not to murder. I don't murder people because I don't want to. But I've wanted to say for a couple minutes to Wat Dat Beck, whether I've ever been raped or sexually assaulted has absolutely nothing to do with the legitimacy of the argument.
Can we say grape, Leo? This is the last time. But seriously, you can't use that word and be favored by the algorithm. So please just say grape.
Oh man, everybody wants the clout, huh?
Well, anyhow. Going back to that point,
I want clout.
He wants to not get his channel yoinked.
You can use that word on YouTube. No. I know people that use it every day.
Yeah, you can, but the algorithm will deprioritize you. So
I absolutely hate this self-censorship. So I'll just click the mute button every time I want to say the word instead of not saying it.
That works for me. I don't care.
I don't believe in censorship for the most part.
Just while we're but yeah, and I agree, but I live in reality, and reality has
so do I, and I don't care about its rules.
Yeah. You don't care about reality's rules. Okay, that's cool.
The rules that we make up that are dumb, yeah, I'll just ignore them.
Yeah, so I do, because I sort of the thing is that when I agree to come on a platform, I kind of adhere to the rules. I've agreed to them. I find it weird that people would go, and I'm not accusing you of this, Leo, don't get me wrong. I find it weird that people will go, oh, well, you know, I'm on this platform, I should be able to say what I want, when you actually sign up to an agreement not to do that, that you will abide by the terms and conditions, community service guidelines, or whatever else they've got going there. And I'm not talking about you, Leo. I'm saying I've met people that go, oh, I don't see why I should have to moderate any behavior on this platform. And it's like, you agreed to. It's just very weird to me. Yeah, praise, Hoven. You know, there's lots of people that do it. Anyway, Farron Salas, thank you so much for $9.99 freedom dollars. Happy birthday, Mark. Cheers. Cheers, big ears. Thank you, Farron. Really appreciate it, mate.
So going back to that point, I knew that it was going to be difficult. It was going to be a cultural shock of how we perceive that. And I understand your point, Leo. To a degree, I can agree to certain aspects of being a rebel and being somebody who will say
being a rebel.
Well,
I don't,
you know,
call myself a rebel. I'm not trying to be a rebel or anything like that.
I get that. I get that to a very high degree in many ways. However, I was just wanting to explain that point. That principle of legality applied in the constitutional norms here in Latin America has a clear limitation, which is if you are harming a third person and you're infringing on their rights, because to us, constitutionally, rights don't have a hierarchy. They are all equal, and therefore everybody has the same rights. But the action of one can infringe in the defense or in the actionability of the rights of others. So when that happens, we can agree that there is a grade of necessity of enforcement by a third party to come in to try to resolve that conflict of the exercise of the abuse of somebody's rights is infringing on the rights of others. So an example of the hold, the 72-hour hold that is in practice in psychiatry. I don't agree with the fact that if the person is a danger to themselves and only to themselves, that hold is applicable. I disagree with that. If that person is a danger to themselves and only to themselves, and there's clear directives that that person does not want to be subjected to a psychiatric hold, then it's, even if that means the death of that person. It's the same thing with the principles of what medicine I want to take or what treatment I want to have. But if that person's actions, because of their condition, represents a danger to others who don't want to be placed in danger because of whatever the conditions, then I say yes, the hold is required. So
yes, we're not talking about infringing upon freedom. We're talking about bodily autonomy. So Ditso, you're off on a different subject again, and I'd like to keep it to bodily autonomy. Not because nobody disagrees that we should, like somebody's a danger to the public, we should impair their freedom so they're no longer, like nobody disagrees on that. Nobody. Like if somebody's going around attacking people, that we lock them up. No one's disagreeing over that, right?
Needs of the many and all that, yeah.
Right. What we're disagreeing over is whether we can infringe their bodily autonomy to inject or otherwise alter their body or in some way damage their body in order to provide that security kind of thing. But I want to get back to that subject because I had a question for Leo, and that's the use of tasers. And I would assume that if you can't infringe bodily autonomy to stop somebody from, you know, going psychotic or doing something like that, would you oppose taser use kind of thing?
Largely, yeah, I am opposed to taser use. And that goes back to an argument that was had in the United States. But that's not the whole argument here, is that I'm just opposed to tasers, simplicator. This goes back to an argument that was had legally in the United States. I can't remember when, 05, something like that, where there were a lot of people arguing that tasers actually shouldn't be used because the police can't know whether somebody has a heart problem or something who could be killed by a taser, which defeats the whole fucking purpose of using them. I think that for the most part, there are better ways to address crime where we just wouldn't need people to carry guns, let alone tasers. And I would opt for those measures rather than tasers. But there is something that I want to say quickly before it escapes my mind, because I see this a lot when people argue about things where emotions get involved. What the Beck says, at Mark Reed, I would love to know how many people objecting to chemical castration have been or essayed. Thanks. That's not relevant. That is not informative. Nothing about that is informative. It's just emotive. You're just emoting at people. This is no different than all the idiot conservatives who go, oh, well, have you ever had a baby? Then you don't get to have an opinion on abortion. Yes, the fuck I do, because whether or not you've ever had a baby is irrelevant to the legitimacy of the argument. Ooh. Whether or not anybody's ever been essayed is irrelevant to the arguments about bodily autonomy. Address the arguments.
So
don't just emote at me.
So 2 things. So next time you argue with conservatives, you can probably just use the Bible against them, because there's plenty of passages in the Bible that support abortion. I could probably.
I wouldn't use the Bible to argue anything.
I just use
to be honest with you, it's.
But I try not to argue with conservatives because they're just not very good at it.
Yeah, and the second thing is, if someone's an active threat, it's pretty much everyone agrees that we inject them with lead or depleted uranium. But if they're not an active threat, I don't see a point in trying to inject them with stuff.
Mark, I do apologize in that sense because, as I mentioned before, there is a major difference of how Latin America perceives the idea of bodily autonomy in accordance with all other rights. So, yes, I do tend it's when it looks like I'm going somewhere else, is because I'm so this is my major thesis, etc., which I presented to finish law in Latin America. So make it very simple. When I talk about bodily autonomy, I am in the same sentence uniting all other rights alongside bodily autonomy, because to us, in the judicial practice as well as in cultural practice, etc., what we've implemented, you cannot analyze, or it's real weird for us to just analyze bodily autonomy without that interconnection and that indivisibility of the rights itself. So I do apologize on that sense.
Well, I don't get it, because, you know, like one's talking, like if you've got certain sort of rights, the right to freedom, for instance, or the right to for free speech, I don't see how that, like, if we want to talk about bodily autonomy, your laws may consider them to be individual from one another, but certainly you can talk about them individually.
Because one, for example, freedom of speech is directly attached to bodily autonomy, because speech is an individual characteristic of every single human being. When speech is pronounced by an individual, and then when it exits the body of that individual, then it becomes a manifestation towards other ones. That's a way we have considered it consistently in that manner. So for us in Latin America, the indivisibility and inalienability of those human rights are attached to each other. So to us, when we speak of the broader self-determination as a concept of bodily autonomy, we are referring to all those actions that the individual has: freedom of speech, freedom of belief, or freedom of no belief, freedom of experiencing the cultural heritages, the freedom of food, of eating, of deciding when to eat.
Let's just
all those type of things.
you know, the law may consider them all. I don't, you know, you can talk about individual ones. I'm sure you can, because you just have been, right? Like, you don't have to talk about another one if we're talking about one. That's, you know, I get that, but it's fine. Let's just.
Can we take just a second to say hi to Robin and let Robin tell you happy birthday?
Yeah, I was just about to. Yeah, Robin, hello. So good to see you.
Hello, happy birthday. Thank you, Bree.
No worries.
Happy birthday. I've been working on my house, so I missed part of this.
Yeah, happy birthday again, Mark. I'm gonna get off your stage. So see you later.
Yeah, no problem. See you, Hank. Take care, mate.
Peace out, Hank.
Yep.
Can I ask everybody a question just to stimulate discussion?
Sure.
Is there any, and I'm going to put emphasis on this word, so no like aliens coming down and saying, if you don't starve this person to death, I'm going to kill all humans. Like nothing like that. Is there any reasonable situation in which you think it's justified to starve a person?
No.
Starve them?
Yes. Is there any reasonable situation in which it's justified to starve a person?
Before I give my answer, I just want to say there's situations like the people in the that survived the wreck of the Essex, where you know you have to decide not just who gets to starve, but also who gets eaten. So, I mean, there's always that to consider as well in those tight situations.
Yeah,
I don't think that's intentionally starving, though. I think what, you know, when we're referring to rationing kind of thing, to try and like, that's not intentionally starving. That's trying
literally
to
I know. I'm being an ass. Right. I'm sorry. I thought it was funny.
Yeah. So no, I don't think there is. I think that even if somebody was, say, incredibly obese, and you know, I don't think starving is the best way to go about fixing that. But even if that was, for instance, the best way to go about it, I think that unless you violate somebody else's rights, yours should not be violated. So I don't know what situation that somebody had violated somebody else's rights and the remedy is starvation. You'd have to come up with that scenario for me, Leo. And B,
the only situation I can fathom is one that's so unreasonable and just so unfathomable that it would never happen. Like a super powerful alien race coming down and saying, if you guys do not starve 1,000 humans to death, then we'll just kill all humans. Like, yeah, starve those 1,000 humans to death.
Leo,
like, I would say, yeah, that's what we should do.
May I invert this real quickly? Sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say there are incidences though of like people who are in the hospital that are like who will consign a form to not receive food.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about like hunger. You're doing that to yourself, and then that goes back to the whole discussion on bodily autonomy.
Well, I mean, if they're dying, that's what I'm saying. Like they don't want like nutrients, like a feeding tube or something.
Yeah. So I think people have the right to starve themselves.
Yeah,
because it's you.
Okay,
and I don't think that, like, I can't consider. How do I word this? Because if I say wrong, that's not gonna be the right way. I mean, in my mind, if somebody says I want to cut my hand off, I might say, well, I don't think you ought to do that. I think it's wrong, but I don't think it's wrong for that person to make that decision about their own body. Just like I don't think it's wrong for somebody to steal their own car, because that doesn't even make sense. How do you steal your own property?
So
I don't think you can.
Leo,
So do you think it's wrong to force feed people?
Yes.
I agree with Leo in that sense, yes. Because I was going to ask Leo, if the person by themselves decides, I'm going to starve to death, but Leo answered it. He agrees that if the autonomous decision of that individual is, I'm going to starve myself to death, no state, no church, no individual should enforce that person to eat forcefully because of that decision they made, even if that means that person is going to die. But on the inverse, if we are forcing that person not to eat, against their own will and against everything logic, common sense, or whatever tells us, then there we are enabling the tyranny of majorities against that individual. So the fundamental is, if bodily autonomy functions as long as it's a expression of the individual's free decision and capability of making those decisions to oneself. But bodily autonomy can't not be enforced upon others because of moral, religious, or judicial reasoning.
That's
that's what I disagree with. Yeah, but Leo, what if somebody has like anorexia nervosa, for instance? Do you think they should, be forced to take food then?
No.
No,
you
they
should,
should just
you
die.
You should encourage them. You should force them. To me, when you say forcing somebody to take food, I'm taking a dinner roll and literally shoving it into their mouth. I think what we do is we encourage them to eat. We try to get them to eat. We use psychological methods, perhaps. I don't think that's forcing.
Well, no, and we also sort of give intravenous nutrition if they refuse to eat. Like, we actually force feed them, essentially.
Yeah, like if someone anorexic passed out in their house from malnutrition and was taken to the hospital, they'd have a vein put in. Sure, that's just the basic idea that we all have the inalienable right to life, and that the primary means of action is to keep the person alive. But once that person's conscious, if they want to take it out, that's their prerogative.
Wouldn't, in that case, or in that scenario, Mark, wouldn't forcing an anorexic individual to feed be counter-effective to the intention of having that person by themselves be able to suppress their condition? Because at the end, we've seen what happens in realistic sense. If you're forcing an anorexic to eat, that anorexic is going to tell you, F you, it's my life, it's my decision, even if that means to die. You have no right to come and enforce over me.
I think we do. I think that if somebody is mentally ill enough to starve themselves to death because of body image, then I agree with force feeding. It's gastrointestinal introduction of food. You're basically forcing them to take nutrition, because I believe that at certain points in our life, especially if someone's depressed or suicidal, or they're not mentally capable of making rational decisions, that it should be made for them. I think that.
I would argue in that sense that euthanasia is the maximum expression of self-determination, and suicide is the maximum expression of body autonomy. And the consideration of morality or non-moral or immoral over the action of suicide, which is fundamentally an individual action, has no merit under the fact of we recognize that each individual has the right to decide for themselves. Now, in the question of a society function, the idea of suicide as something not desirable is something that has other factors that play a role into that consideration. But if we go to the strict fundamentals, the decision of the individual to end their life that does not affect or does not end the life of others, that's the basis of all freedom. The individual deciding for themselves, even if that means death to themselves.
Yes, but I think that sort of mental illness is in a different category, because those people in it, like somebody that is that depressed, they do not feel that way forever. And they may take actions that later on they, would absolutely regret. A lot of people with anorexia nervosa come out and say that they don't know why, and that their perception of reality is distorted. They thought they were thin. They thought they were overweight, and massively, you know, ugly and overweight and fat and all of this distorted body image stuff when they weren't in actuality. So I think that just from the number of people that have come out the other side and sort of said, yes, I needed to be stopped from doing what I was doing because I was not in the right mental state. I think that's a big warning that these people, they may do these things because of a distorted view of reality, that later on they would say, yes, that was distorted. I did need to be stopped. I did need to have this thing done to me because I was in that state.
I'm going to simply counter with this. Wouldn't that be your point? Wouldn't that be making the case to us, society, as groups of people, to ensure that those people who are having those particular conditions that are affecting their own individual, their own self-determination, their own bodily autonomy, to have a readily accessible route towards medicine, towards attention, towards prevention, but not in a imposed way, in a way that we can ensure that those people that are encountering those conditions can have a route towards bettering themselves in the health sense of way, if we want to use that term. But we also have to establish the conditions for that to be readily accessible. So let's just face it. There's no logic for a person who has an illness to also face financial ruin because of that sickness.
No, well, hang on. You're going on to a completely different topic.
I'm giving it an
example. No. You're going on to a completely different topic now, which is sort of, you know, the cost of healthcare. What I'm saying is that, you know, if somebody isn't mentally competent to make those decisions, those decisions are made for them. Like, just as if somebody isn't mentally competent to stand trial, we don't get them to stand trial. If somebody's not mentally competent to be in society, we take them out of society. And I'm just saying, as an extension of that, if someone's not mentally competent to make the decision, it's why in all cases of euthanasia, they have to have a psychiatrist say, yes, this person is mentally competent to make that decision. Right.
And
we don't just
that's
say
the only exception to the right to bodily autonomy that I would allow is in the case of mental incompetency,
Okay.
where I would say that the right to life should trump the right to bodily autonomy.
So,
well, I think, hang on one second. I think that's, you know, for a start, that means it's not nailable, Leo. Then there is a case.
Well, I would still consider it inalienable.
I'm going to cut in again and say, hello, godless engineer.
Do you even know if that's the real GE? Like, there's no profile picture. I mean,
yeah.
No, it's an imposter. 100% imposter.
Say something, GE.
Wait, what? No, it's dark here, and I don't want to be on camera. I'm eating pizza.
You don't have to. Like, not a problem. Oh, good.
I recognize the voice. I'm.
That imposter's using a really convincing voice changer. Must be AI.
Voice changer. Yeah. How you doing, buddy?
Sorry, how am I doing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I got banned off TikTok today, so like I have to use my backup accounts. I said the word.
You do.
Yeah. Well, so I said the word dick, and apparently that is not like an available language on TikTok.
Oh.
And
so you came into my channel to say dick and see if you get my channel.
Yeah, exactly.
Dick and balls.
Yeah. So okay. So I had a philosopher that was on, and he was making this argument for God, God's existence, and I told him, well, I could just swap out God for Big Dick Godzilla, and then he goes on this rant of replacing God with Big Dick Godzilla at every single point that he says God. And so it's like 15 minutes of nonstop Big Dick Godzilla. And so they were like, nah, we can't have Big Dick Godzilla on the platform. And so they
How do you know it was the dick and not the Godzilla?
Well, so
you don't know, right?
Yeah, right. So good question. So I previously got banned for a week too. but I got banned, and it was just after I said, "Do you suck Jesus's dick with that mouth?" And so the common word there is dick. And
okay.
So I guess just into deductive reasoning or whatever in the fuck you use there, dick is the problem. So from now on, I got to use the ridiculous word of pickle for a penis.
Nice.
That's taking Pickle Rick to a whole new level.
You'll never remember.
Yeah.
You'll never remember.
At least it got banned because of the word dick. In my case, I got banned for life because I said China is not a democratic country. It's an oppressive country.
It's not, I wouldn't consider China a democracy. Or at any rate, it's an extremely flawed democracy. But I don't know if democracy is the right word to describe.
I got banned IP-wise.
Oh, Gogi.
But anyway.
I just want to quickly give a big shout out to Eric Wanda, who's gifted 5 readerships. Thank you so much, Eric. Really appreciate it. You didn't have to do that. That's awesome.
I can't believe you passed up markerships.
Markerships? No, I don't like that.
That's the way to go, there.
No. Get out of here, Leo. I'll ban you. Mighty Quinn, Uncle Charlie apologetically, Chrissy, Peter Guns, and Darren Delaney. Enjoy your emotes and other benefits, and winner chicken dinner, everybody. Awesome. Thank you so much. But John's probably. I mean, you're probably going to be on our next debate dissection, John, which is just fantastic. I really am looking forward to it, which is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, well, it's the debate, if I understand correctly, like what we discussed over Discord messages. It's the debate that everybody claims that I lost until I ask them how I lost, and then they can't give me an answer. So
that's usual. I mean, Ken Hovind, he's run the same script for his debates for the last decades. And he claims he's won every one. It's ridiculous, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, so this came amongst other drama that was going on. So I think that a lot of people's opinion was clouded by other drama that was going on in the community. And so they were just pretty much saying, "Oh, you lost to Kent Hovind," as a way to emotionally hurt me. And so it just didn't work, and so that angered them.
I see that a lot in both sides of the community, where people just oh, but this person won because I agree with them, and this person lost because I disagree with them.
I dislike to even apply win or lose to any debate kind of thing. I really dislike it because it really is just a matter of A, opinion, and B, I don't know.
There are debates though, Mark, where I would say that you did handedly win them. So
that's true. Yeah, I get that. But at the end of the day, it's not really important. It's the arguments presented that's important.
Was that you, Mark? 2 or 3 years ago on Amy's channel, you debated that crazy Islamic lady with a Scottish accent or whatever on theology. God, you just ripped. I remember that was one of the first debates you ever did that I saw. And I was so entertained. So entertained.
Who was that? I don't even remember who it was. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. I remember the person, but I can't remember secular Quranism or some weird thing. I don't know. She was a character, to put it that way.
Secular Muslim.
I see Mark lose one debate. To Bree.
And plus nobody loses.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Nobody would
what?
Which
I said I thought Mark lose one debate. Knew it was you.
Okay. I don't really debate anymore, so that's probably for the best.
I know, we all victory. Yeah, you won.
We debated with animals had morality was the debate. Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh man, that's a hard question to answer. How are we defining morality?
And before
that's what we ended up doing the whole time, was trying to define morality. Yeah. So
I would define morality as a code of conduct practiced by all rational people.
And
so you say people like person,
and I would say
or like humans,
the same,
people?
except for
Well,
I would say members of a society, of a social society. It doesn't have to be people, in my opinion. But
but does it have to be systematized? Is the question? Because I would say that morality is
my argument. That was my argument. But I couldn't say just human people, because that's kind of winning the debate by definition kind of thing, which I kind of refuse to do. So I certainly didn't.
Yeah, not all persons are humans.
Some are corporations.
Right.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, people will use person for like human, and I'm like, wait, but you believe in God, don't you? Yeah. Is God
okay,
a person?
this may...
why? What? I'm still talking. What is going on? Is God a person? Yes. But God's not a human. And then they're just like, that usually happens in abortion debates when they try to, oh, but they're people. No, they do not possess, fetuses do not possess personhood.
And God's a he too, without any of the characteristics they demand for.
Well, but that's where the transgender Jesus argument comes from. You just ask, okay, was Jesus a man prior to the incarnation, or was he not a man until he was incarnated? Because if they say he was a man prior to incarnation, they're admitting that biology has nothing to do with gender, that you can have a gender with no biology, and then that validates trans people. Excuse me, I just took a massive hit.
I feel Leo Phyllis, I think that we could have a drag out argument about this particular topic, me and you.
But if you say, I just want to do the other side quick. If you say that no, he wasn't a man until he was incarnated, then that just means that he went from a non-gendered state to a gendered state, which is a form of gender transition, which legitimizes gender transition. And so, I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it here, or and eat it too here, Christians. You gotta pick one or the other.
First thing, Mark, I still have a counter. I was going to say on the prior argument of what you said in regards of that there are limitations or standards towards the individuals of, aka mental health, etc. And the question is, who sets those standards of behavior or of normalcy? I did.
Like what makes a person?
No. Okay, the argument before we diverted was from Mark that the limitation of bodily autonomy is if that person is incapable of making.
Oh, we're going back to that. Oh, well.
Yeah, sorry,
I'm past that.
I had that bitten in my tongue. I was just gonna say I'm worried about that argument of sorry. Dude, I debate every single day of my life because I work on legislative and pushing legislation in Congress, Costa Rica, Colombia, and some other countries. So I have to debate every single day, no matter how I try it. Anyhow, another day we'll pick up on that. Yeah, my question was in who sets the standards of behavior of normalcy, and who decides what is being competent to make decisions and who is incompetent to make those decisions for themselves. So that is a thin line. I've poisoned the question there for afterthought and etc. I have my own reply, but I'll leave it there.
Sorry, I'm just noting down who's in the room. It was Grayson here earlier as well as Hanko Flamio, wasn't it? Was it Hanko Flamio? Yeah, it was Hanko
Flamio. Flamio, I don't know how it's pronounced.
Is there anybody else I'm missing? There's Ditso, Godless Engineer, Leo, Robin, Bree. I think that's it. Oh, and myself, of course. Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah, you can't forget about yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I can. I often do, but you know.
Well, you've got bodily autonomy, Mark. You can do whatever you want to yourself.
Exactly.
I often do.
You are free to forget about yourself.
Not on your birthday. No.
Well, I'd probably still am.
You know what you should do, Mark, since it's your birthday? You should intoxicate yourself.
No, I don't actually drink very much at all, to be honest.
There's other intoxicants.
Well, I mean, I agree with that statement, but my pedantic self has to remind us that they're not intoxicants because they aren't toxic to the body, like alcohol is.
Some are.
Well, some are. I don't do those.
I would say like peyote is probably going to be safer than like methamphetamine or something. No.
See, I thought you were just talking about cannabis. Maybe shrooms here and there. Two drugs
peyote,
you literally cannot kill yourself by taking.
Peyote's in that category too, right?
I have no idea. I don't do peyote. I wouldn't do peyote.
What if we want Mark? It's about Mark, and not everything's about you, Leo. Mark wants to do peyote. Leave him alone.
Oh yeah, no, he's got bodily autonomy. Mark can do as much peyote as he wants, or as
I think we should get Mark as much peyote as we can. All the peyote.
What I would say to Mark in his birthday is enjoy yourself in any way you like to enjoy yourself, to the extent that you can. Yeah, exactly. Just have fun, enjoy yourself to the maximum, and enjoy this aspect, because no matter what, every birthday is 1 year closer to death, and that's what we're celebrating.
Well, I'm not celebrating that. I'm celebrating 1 more year of life that I got to live.
Yeah. I actually agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now, and I do want to do peyote. I was going to invite you to come with me, Leo, but never mind now.
I'll just do shrooms.
I did.
Why do peyote?
Ayahuasca.
I wouldn't do.
If I have autonomy, I want to put out there. Does anyone want to play some Gartic Phone?
Anybody want to play some RuneScape? Let's go kill some green dragons.
I don't know what Gartifine is.
What? Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Gartic Phone. I'll put it in the private chat, and I'll also put it in
the more important question. Do you guys know what RuneScape is?
Like a video game?
It's a bit like Pictionary kind of stuff, but it's sort of you give a sentence and everybody gets a sentence and then they draw it, and then the next person gives a sentence of what they see, and then you draw that, and then you see sort of how ridiculous it gets by the end. It's actually a very, very cool game. Oh, I think it's a cool game anyway.
It's your birthday.
I logged in.
Okay.
Another time I do have to step off because tomorrow I have work. I just came in to say happy birthday and then we got into the whole conversation. Another day, Mark, I would love to have a more in-depth conversation of the differences of human rights applied in Latin America versus United States.
I don't live in the United States.
Or in Canada also.
I don't live in Canada.
Oh, no,
listen
close. What lives in Australia, mate?
Can you not hear the accent?
Hey, you're right. My bad. I made the mistake. I forgot he was.
It's all good. I really don't mind. It's no problem. I'm just having some.
My bad. I can accept when I fucked up. But anyhow,
I got New Zealand mixed up with Tasmania earlier. I get it.
Yeah, how dare you? That's unforgivable.
I'm humiliated.
Well, I shouldn't apologize to the UK being an Latin American because of our history. But hey, bygones are bygones. Anyhow, happy birthday, Mark. As we say here in Latin America, really que la pases bien, un año más cerca de la muerte. Have a great birthday, 1 year closer to death. That's what we say here, especially in my family.
Hey, Bree.
Thank you. I'll assume that's not an insult. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Since you're like the only other, maybe Robin, I don't know where she lives. I don't really know where anybody else lives. But I know you live in the Midwest. Do you follow the Facebook page Midwest versus Everybody?
No, I don't.
Oh my God.
Should I?
Yes, you fucking should. Some of the memes they fucking share. Just.
Oh my God, just log in.
What do I do with this, Mark?
You just log in and
Mark,
it'll give you a prompt. What do you mean do with it? You click on the link.
Login is required.
So you guys are going to play a game? Because if so, I'm going to take off, which I need to. It's getting close to 10 o'clock, and I have to work a probably slightly over 12-hour shift tomorrow.
Come on, Leo. You always pressure people into doing things. Just do one round.
Nope.
One round.
No, I will not miss out on sleep. No, straight up. Not happening. I have to work a 12-hour shift.
One round. Leo,
Sorry.
You're losing your rep. You're losing your rep as a
Then
contender.
I'm going to have to lose my rep because I don't want to lose my job.
Come on. One round. I live
in Kentucky, by the way, Leo. Kentucky.
I just
Leo,
I can't do it.
Leo, you have to.
I can't permit it.
You have to. This is what you do to me every time you want me to do something. So this is how it feels. You have to.
Yeah, but I'm the kind of person who would just leave.
Yeah, but it's my birthday. You have to. You have to.
Oh, there it is. It's my birthday. You have to.
There you go.
You say I have to, but I can't. It's like saying, "But man, you have to jump to the moon." I'm going to shoot your dog if you don't jump to the moon right now. You have to.
But
you have to.
This could happen in some possible world.
Though.
In some possible, yeah, but
in some possible world, you can jump to the moon because it's not logically impossible.
Well, that's true.
So saying in some possible world doesn't help you here. Saying in some nomologically possible world does.
Yeah,
but maybe there's a nomologically possible world in which the laws are such that I could still jump to the moon. I mean, you never know. Modality's a fucking bitch. That's all I can say. Okay.
You could have logged in by now. I'm just going to put that out.
That's great. I could have, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take off and watch TV for like 20 minutes and then probably pass out and wake up at like 1:30 and actually lay down and go to sleep.
Yeah, that's actually my intention, Victoria. My intention is to keep Leo longer for the game would take, just to prove a point.
Yeah, I don't want to play the game.
Where everybody else is.
There you go. See, that's more honest, isn't it? You don't want to play the game.
I thought that's kind of what you like. I was saying the whole time. Like I thought people kind of realize.
No, you gave excuses like you've got to go to work
now.
You have to go to bed.
If we want to go kill green dragons on RuneScape, I will gladly stay. I'd stay till like midnight. It's only 9:51 here, but we're not killing green dragons.
How do I get to where y'all are, Mark?
You
all right, I'm going to let you guys play this game. I'm out at 5,000.
All right, we'll get full capitalism up, I think.
Happy birthday, Mark. Love you guys.
Thank you. Take care.
Yeah, we get Robin in here.
Yeah, Robin. So what happens when you click on the link?
I don't know. I'm logged in.
Did you
but
click
I
on
don't
the
know
link?
I clicked on. Well, I typed it in. It wouldn't let me click on it, but I copied it and pasted it.
I know it had me log in through Discord. I don't know if
it logs in.
Yeah, that's what I'm logged in through Discord. Yeah, I'm logged in through Discord.
We'll just close the window and click on the link again. See if it works.
Okay. See, like the link wouldn't let me do it. Well, I can't find it now.
I'll post it again.
Yeah, try again.
Why don't you post it in the chat too? I'm sure some of our friends out there will play.
I am posting it in the chat. I'm posting it everywhere.
That don't let me. That don't let me click on it. Nothing.
Maybe
it doesn't let me click on that.
Blocked. Hey Beck, how you doing? Are you using Chrome?
Me? I don't know.
Yeah. I think she's probably on her device. Aren't you on your phone?
No, I'm on my computer. Okay. My laptop, but I don't. It won't let me click on nothing. I mean, it's like that. It isn't a link, to me.
Try popping out of here and coming back into the Streamyard. Then try.
Well, hold on a sec. I should be able to send it to you on Discord, right? Give me a sec. Where's?
Yeah.
Robin. But click on that link in Discord. See if it's maybe a browser disallowing pop-ups, maybe.
Okay.
Hey, Beck, you gonna join us?
I'm here.
Yeah, you're gonna join us on Gardic phone.
Not sure how.
The link in the private chat.
Just a link in the private chat, and you log in. Apparently through Discord. I didn't know that. You just log in through Discord.
Yeah, we just kind of found that out.
Yeah. I'll take that as a no.
Yeah, they were like, "Fuck
Okay,
this."
I'm almost there.
It just seems like it'd be fun, more fun with at least 4 players.
Yeah, 4's fine. More is better, but 4's fine. You know.
There's Beck is back.
Hey, Beck.
Hey.
I didn't know you had to log in through. I thought you could just log in anonymously. You could just say anonymous. Oh, thanks, Ian. Much love back, buddy. All right. So, Beck, are you joining, or are you going to pass on the game?
Not sure how to get in.
There's a link in the private chat. There's a link in the chat, the live chat. There's I can send you a link if you can. There's links everywhere. There's links just falling out of my ass right now. Like, seriously, there's links everywhere.
God, Mark.
I have no more buttons to press.
Thanks, Mark.
You have. Thanks for what? No more buttons to
For
press.
that mental picture.
Oh. You're welcome. It's a very vivid image, isn't it? Like, really. I guess what I'm asking, Beck, is do you want to join?
I was trying, but I don't seem to get beyond this point.
Which point is that? Where are you at?
I've got you up on the screen. I see me. It says I'm in the show, but
Yep.
that's as far as I can get.
So if you go to the bottom right, it says sort of down the side, you've got comments, banners, brand, and private chat. If you click on private chat, you should have a link in there, https gardicphone.com.
I don't see any of that there.
You don't see any of that in private chat, or you can't see private chat?
I can't see the chat. Let me go to chat button. Join the chat. Connect. Deck.
Do you have a Discord account? Apparently it requires Discord.
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Okay.
It's probably been
maybe figure out if you do have a Discord account. We'll start the first round, I guess, while we're waiting. If anyone else wants to join, this is your last call. It is a lot of fun, but we're probably going to start so it doesn't take too long.
Yeah, I think I've only got one round in me there, Mark.
Oh,
yeah, no worries at all. There we go. There we go. What?
I've got to. I've advanced to another screen.
And it asks for login via Discord.
Discord. Oh, here we go again. Welcome back. Okay, I do have an account.
Yay! Ooh, I heard an echo. Maybe. We could probably get the stream taken down by just singing "Happy Birthday" to Mark, right?
No, it's off of copyright. It's Like now, yeah,
public domain.
It is public domain now. Yes. So your little strategy of taking my channel down will not work. How are you doing there, Beck?
It's asked me if I'm human. I wasn't sure of the answer.
Are you in fact human?
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, just say yes. It's okay. It's a little white lie. Doesn't.
Okay. Now I got pictures of parrots.
I like parrots. What if
and pandas? Okay. Verify. Select a passkey. Sure.
So happy birthday was not like public domain?
No. Not until like maybe 10 years ago or something, I think. It was definitely, and they were very like copyright happy. The people that owned the copyright would absolutely crack down on that kind of thing. So
yeah, like they couldn't even sing it at restaurants and stuff. Like
it was getting that bad, yeah.
So all those birthday parties we had as children, like we were doing all kinds of illegal shit, singing that.
I mean, no more illegal than like reading a copyrighted book to a kid, I would say. But that's gets where it's kind of, where do you draw the line? If it's a song, is it performing the song that's the copyrighted issue, or if you just read it?
Broadcasting it. Yeah, it's just broadcasting it, and the tune kind of thing, like most copyright songs. Beck, where you at, mate?
I don't think this is going to happen within any.
That's right. We'll start
decent amount of time.
Let's do it.
Write a sentence.
So I'll pass on this for now.
I don't know what to do.
Right. There's a time limit. Just write any sentence you want. Any sentence at all. Doesn't matter what it is. Just say something. Describe something. And try not to look at my screen as well. It'll spoil the fun. That's okay. I'm not really that worried about it.
What? I'm blind right now. I don't know what I'm looking at.
You don't know what you're looking at. It should just be a sentence to write. What I get.
Sorry, I was being facetious.
Oh, okay. Well. Wow.
So I draw what I get.
Yeah, you just draw whatever it is that says up the top, whatever the sentence says.
I don't draw very good.
That's even better. That makes it so much better. The worse you draw, the better this game is, quite frankly.
Well, that's good. Actually.
Then you're going to be brilliant. I get you.
Yeah. How do you erase it? Can you erase it?
You could do undo. They're down the bottom to the right-hand side. There's an undo and a redo button. They're very, very useful.
I don't see that. I see done.
To the right, there's a number of buttons. Okay, to the right, there's 1, 2, 3, 10 buttons. Yep, and then the bottom is undo and redo.
Okay, I see. All right, cool.
Uh-oh, that was a mistake. I didn't mean to do that, chat. Don't look. Don't look. How dare you call my art a potato? Who was that? Who was that? Oh, crap. Victoria, I see you.
Are we on a timer?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Hey, Chrissy, it's not that bad. Come on. what I do with my water? God damn it.
I mean, that's one scared Pikachu, if I have to say. Like, I feel like it doesn't know what's happening.
Well, you know. That's sweet. Yeah, this is my interpretation of this picture. Don't judge me. What am I looking at right now? What?
I think every time.
I don't know what that is.
Who in the world are this?
You could hide my screen. Oh, that would take so much more effort than I want to do. Like, seriously. I know I could, but the amount of effort involved, you don't understand. Yeah, I am cheating. Yes, that is correct. But everyone's cheating by being able to see what I'm drawing. So I consider it as sort of
I was not
even situation.
I was not looking at what you were drawing, but
now you are.
Now I am.
Damn, fuck you, Superman.
Okay. All right, let's start this thing.
Accurate.
That's basically the same thing.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, accurate.
I knew it. I could remember what you said. I could not remember what you said, John.
Oh, mate.
There you go.
You can't show that on
Accurate.
YouTube. What are you doing?
What was I supposed to draw?
I don't know.
It was hard to see. It was hard to see.
What the hell is Fido? Oh, look, I'm not surprised you didn't guess that was Big Dick Godzilla. I probably wouldn't have guessed that myself. But... that is a camel. I will die on that hill. That is a camel. That is amazingly similar for, like, you know, completely different animal. got this one first. That's without.
Accurate.
Our pictures look surprisingly the same, Mark.
Yeah,
you describe that because GE, good description of Mark's picture.
Description, John. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, accurate description. I didn't know what to do. Evolution is magic, and I thought, Pokemon evolution. That's the best I could think of.
Yeah, no, that was great.
Yeah, that's basically the game. It's just gets ridiculous.
No, that was really fun. I do need to go though because we're
yeah. No worries, mate. Absolutely.
It was great. It was great seeing you. Happy birthday,
Yeah.
man. I turned 40 next month. I don't know how old you are, but it's my birthday next month.
I'm 48, mate. I'm 8 years older than you.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm coming up. I'm following right behind you then.
I'm between you guys, so
you'll never catch me.
Well, that's how time works.
I'm the old motherfucker on this thing.
All right. Well, take care, John. Really good to see you, mate.
Yeah.
Bye,
it was great seeing you. Great seeing you, Bree, and nice meeting you, Robin.
You met me. I got a picture of me and you together.
Cool.
Oh. Who, me?
Really?
At the Kentucky Free Thought.
Oh, awesome! Great, yeah. Sorry, I didn't recognize you.
Yeah,
she's wearing a bandana and sunglasses in her picture.
Then again, Robin, you've got like a picture with everybody. Like seriously, you've got a picture with almost everybody. Let's face it.
Yep, I got him in Secular Rarity and me. I can't pull it up on my computer because it's on my phone. But
did you say him it?
No, I said Matt. I got a picture. Let's see. It was him. It was John and Secular Rarity, who I got my picture made with, and then Seth, of course. Seth was there.
Cool.
All right. Well, it was good seeing you again there, Robin, and I'll see you later there, Mark and Bree.
Bye.
Yeah, see you, mate. Take care.
Yep.
All right, new round. Yeah, and Eric's in for this one. Hope you're ready, Eric. I want to see that art, that beautiful art, mate. That's what I want to see.
Oh, what happened? What I do?
Oh, it's what I did. It's my fault. Blame me. Okay, so we've been going for 2 hours already. That's insane. All right, I didn't expect to go that long, but that's okay. What am I supposed to do with this? Oh God. Anyone know what color that is? I don't know. I'll just guess. Anyone know how to do a headdress? Asking for a friend. That's not. I don't know who did this. I suspect. Do you get one and then you suspect who did it? You're like, I really think this is a kind of Bree thing to say, you know.
Oh. Maybe. It might be one of mine.
This really shows how you have like free will over no free will over like what pops into your brain. You know what? I guess it's like write a random sentence.
I've got absolutely nothing on this one. I don't think. Trying to make this into an image.
If you're laughing at mine, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay.
What the hell? Got too distracted by yours and didn't do mine. I started doing mine like when that bell rang. I'm like, oh shit, what am I gonna do?
What the fuck?
Okay. What? I don't know how we got to this. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It just seems like a bad thing. What am I doing? I've lost it. I've lost it. Fuck it. That'll do.
What about my art?
Okay, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Hey, what are you trying to say about my ass, Eric?
What is that?
That is a bee, all right.
Just a bee. That's what they said, but yeah.
Oh, God, this is about to get ugly like it wasn't already, Eric. Oh, yeah.
You called it.
That was, of course, that was Brie. I knew that was you. I knew that was you. No, that ass was so muscled. Can I just show you how muscled my ass is? Like those glutes
like,
are ready to. That's glutes destroying that bee. Time stands still. Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah, I was trying to freeze time.
You know what? It's weird how similar that is to Bree's thing, though.
Right.
Oh, no. That's tragic. Superman face.
I think I got one of them.
It's no. I was going, where did this come from? Like, how did we get to this?
Superman buying glass.
It's better with more people, but you know, that's basically it. Yeah, I might call it. I'm feeling a little bit tired and I feel a little bit hungry. I feel like I should grab something to eat.
Sure.
So yeah, I might call it. But thank you so much for coming, everybody. I really, really appreciate it. It was a good time and nice conversation. I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much. Yeah, is there anything you guys want to add?
Well, join me on the Transpositions Thursday at 8 Eastern.
Oh yeah, okay. Let me grab a link for Transpositions.
Don't know if we have the show set up yet, but we should.
No, I'll just grab a link to the channel. I'll just grab the link. That's not the problem.
Sure. We have Rudy B this week, so that's X-Cult Baby, and they are going to be a first timer.
Oh, okay. Nice. That's awesome. And I'm glad it's doing so well for you. That's wonderful. It's fantastic.
Yes, keep the momentum going.
Why can't I find your channel? What Robin's channel? Why am I not finding? Did you rename your channel? People do that occasionally, and it really screws me up.
No, it's Robin Webster. Joe and I have politicality on Wednesday night this week.
Okay. Well, that's Robin's channel. She does stuff and political stuff and occasional ranting and things like that. It's really good. So go check Robin out. Go check Transpositions, and Hive Science was the other one that I wanted to get. Because Hive Science is lots of fun where you can learn all kinds of things, including the difference between New Zealand and Tasmania. It's incredible.
Yes.
It's incredible. I'm joking, Bree. No, she does really good stuff with bugs. Like, don't let the web fool you.
I'm not
awesome stuff.
No, that was just like I don't know where my brain was.
No, it's okay. It's totally fine. Not a problem. I'll include the links of all the participants in the description. I'll put that up momentarily. But thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to be kind to yourself.
Happy birthday,
be
Mark.
kind to each other. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know. I just, it's just another day, but I just thought I'd do a birthday bash. And it was great to see you all again. I really enjoy hanging out, but I know it's getting late for all. But yeah, take care, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right.